Welcome back. So, yes, so we were discussing that how to convince a person to detox himself. So, if we actually understand the natural, spontaneous aspect of detoxification, then perhaps there is no need to convince the individual to help himself to detox. He's already designed to detox himself. It's just that the realization of that the blocker is himself could lead him to unblock. Are we able to comprehend this narrative, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
क्योंकि ये जो हम कोशिश पे लगे हुए रहते हैं ना, चीजें घटाने के लिए, मतलब घट जाए, घटाने मतलब रिड्यूसिंग का नहीं, मतलब टू मेक इट हैपन, and whether the things are structured to happen, ये ये जो डिफरेंस है, ये बड़ा क्रूशियल है in understanding the natural life. So further, toxemia leads to healing crisis spontaneously. That's the design of organism. And whenever that particular experience is there of healing crisis basically is raising the heat within the body so that the accumulated hardened toxin can be thrown away. So hardened toxin actually lead to reducing the density of it, and that reduced density facilitate the elimination. So this is very physics understanding actually, that if the density is reduced, then the elimination is further facilitated within an organism. So, but conventionally, when we experience discomfort, why discomfort? Because in the process of detoxification, we come in touch with toxin. We come in contact with toxin. And whenever our sensory organs are in touch with the toxin, we experience discomfort. We experience discomfort. And that discomfort is due to some stagnated perception is hated. And we start finding out measures to get rid of that discomfort conventionally without understanding it at the depth that the discomfort is a byproduct of the process that is happening when we are subject to suppressing that discomfort. Then the handling of the heat becomes an unnatural handling. So this actually converts acute condition. So these healing crisis is commonly called acute condition, which is primarily fever, but it may happen with only flu without fever. Uh, and that's again another example of lack of energy of raising the temperature. It's just the flu that has happened. So there could be possibility of that there is no requirement of fever. That is why the fever is not raised. That's also one of the possibilities. So, so ultimately, these all are throwing out something special, which never happens every day. The flu, or even the pain also, acute pain, when it is happening due to some internal reason, this is actually a structural endeavor of the body to mobilize the circulation. which got stagnated because of the toxin. So pain is basically a pressure exerted by the body to overcome the restrictions in the path of circulation. And definitely that is restriction is nothing but the toxins. So these all are symptoms that we experience to overcome the toxemic state, which is a very designed aspect, structural aspect of the body for the existence. So when that particular acute symptoms are suppressed through any means, largely it is a medicinal route that we opt to suppress the acute symptoms, but also during the acute, the body indicates rest so that it can do the detoxification effectively using the same conserved energy which you offer while resting. And rest means physical, physiological, and psychological rest. Now, physical and psychological rests are indicated through the tiredness, and physiological rest is indicated through the tastelessness primarily. Now, if we defy to take physical, psychological rest, or if we defy to fast, which is indicated by the body during fever, then also the fever get suppressed because the energy
Sir,
which was, yes,
about the psychological rest. The psychological rest, what you say?
yes, psychological rest. Psychological rest means over analyzing the things,
So how
chattering.
we take psychological rest?
Inquiry is an ideal state of psychological rest. When we are in inquiring state, the psychology, the mind gets optimum rest. You know, for mind, the stagnation of perception is burden. It is an unrestful mind. Are you able to understand? जब भी हम सोच के अंडर रहते हैं, समझ से निकल आते हैं, सोच और समझ एक साथ नहीं हो सकता। सोच मतलब एक कोई धारणा जो रुका हुआ है दिमाग के अंदर, ये जब कंडीशन है तो वो बड़ा बोझ है दिमाग के लिए। वो दिमाग कभी भी शांत नहीं हो सकता। और जब आपका कोई भी परसेप्शन स्टैग्नेटेड नहीं है, डायनामिक है, आप कोई कंक्लूजन में नहीं जा रहे हो, तो जो स्टेट ऑफ माइंड है उसमें कोई बोझ नहीं है। इसको समझ पा रहे हैं क्या? थोड़ा बहुत नहीं? एनीवे, कोई रिफ्लेक्शन एट दिस पॉइंट? Conversion of acute to chronic due to suppression. Further, we actually try to understand this particular stages of disease, where we saw that the A, B, C, D, E, F, G are the stages of disease. Whenever there are repeated suppression, these red arrows, so we defy the initiative of the body to detox these green circles. So that time we lead ourselves to the further chronification. But the beauty in the body that we see that in every stages of disease, be it acute or chronic, it tries to bring the best of the experience for the body. So it's actually a close friend of the body to try to protect its own interest at any stage of disease. So this is very important understanding. Like for an example, inflammation. Inflammation is a confinement of toxin in one part of the body where it may get swollen. But a very premise of this is that the toxin must not be spread across the body, so that the discomforts are limited, and body finds its route to eliminate effectively whenever it gets the enough energy, enough conserved energy. So that way, hardening is also quite similar as inflammation. It's a confinement of toxin. But finally, at the fungation stage, the toxins start spreading across the body. So because that's where the connectedness with the universe we can explore, that it's due to the homeostasis to be maintained in the universe, the body perishes faster when the when body realizes that this repeated suppression and repeated depletion of energy is not reversed at all. So there is no possibility of reversing the stoxemic stage for the body remains at that point in time. So that's how this happens. And the beauty here is the moment body gets energy conserved, the stages starts reversing. So whatever the stages may be, and parallelly, there are different stages happening within the body in different parts of the body. So this is very pertinent understanding of reversal of disease if the energy is conserved within the body. Right. So this was yesterday's topic that we.
One reflection.
Yes.
When we say that the body is like a best friend,
Hmm.
could it be also an interpretation? It is, the mechanism is just is what it is.
Yeah. So friend itself, this term friend is an interpretation. It's not that opinionated term of friendship, but when it supports its existence, what do we call, like, for the
But
lack
it
of.
gives a feeling like there are two entities. One is yourself and the body. Uh, that
Hmm,
di- that
hmm,
duality seems to be
I
signified.
understand. I understand. So it's basically the knack of existing, of the existence, whatsoever the language that we may use. It's due to that knack of existence, of the existence, it actually starts reversing the conflicts, right? So do you have any better language to explain that, like how should we?
You just did by mentioning about the knack of existence. I think that is as
Enough.
a structural design element.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. Thoughtful. Yes. So should we proceed for the next part? Any question, any thought? Anita, Sapna, Pooja, Jyoti. Good
No, it's
morning,
okay.
Jyoti.
Kalyan, coming back to the psychological rest, like someone asked here,
Hmm.
could you can we explore that a little further?
Yes,
What do you mean
psychological
by
rest.
psychological rest? Huh.
Psychological rest, basically, when we understand the psychological rest and unrest state, it needs an understanding of sensation. Because in the psychological space, we are very prone to involve sensation. If there is no involvement of sensation, then it is a restful state. Are you able to comprehend this? If the psychology doesn't involve sensation, then it is a restful state. The moment it starts occupying the sensation, it's no more restful. It's chattering.
Okay,
Then-
so we may, one of the basic, most simple, crude example is like if I am sleeping or if there's fever,
Yes.
so body is in a state of healing or call it acute crisis or whatever. And people tend to engage in watching TV or listening to music or reading or trying to catch up with friends. So your sensory organs are all involved outside the physical sensory organs, the five senses. That would also mean that since the physiology is not at rest or the physical rest is not happening, I'm trying to connect it here into not leading to psychological rest. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, psychological rest basically is that whatever the physical aspect, physical rest is definitely is recommended in the in case of tiredness. But suppose you are watching TV, you are considering that I am taking physical rest, but I am watching TV. Now, during watching TV, if you are suppose watching a movie, then a lot of psychological space is occupied in comprehending it. Now, comprehending something again is not much of load. But the moment that comprehension starts bringing some kind of sensation within the body, this aspect, the comprehension doesn't need a lot of energy, but comprehending and bringing some sensation within the body leads the individual to deplete a lot of energy. Are we able to comprehend this? The
Yes. So
difference
you mean
between comprehending without sensation and comprehending with sensation.
okay? So maybe while during watching the movie, if I'm watching a horror movie, it does affect me. I get involved, and there are physical sensation of fear or surprise or shock.
Yes.
That will not be psychological rest, right?
Yes. Yes.
In a very
Yes.
simpler term.
Very simple term.
Sir,
Even if you're watching a comedy movie and if you're laughing out loud with the jokes, even that's another form of disturbance because the sensation is again involved.
Yeah. So sensation, sensation, the involvement of sensation is to be understood while understanding the psychological rest. Yes, Pooja, you want to say something?
yes, sir, it means that if I have a fever and I'm watching the Kalyan sir session, then what is it, the psychological rest or not?
No, we don't know how you are watching this session. If you are watching this session with a lot of excitement, then it's not a psychological rest. If you are just
Okay,
going ahead with your curious mind and just
yeah,
exploring the things yourself,
okay,
then it is not a psychological burden. It is a
okay,
restful
okay.
state of being. So the very knack of the natural mind is exploration. That's the topic of today also, that we are going to explore, that the very natural knack of mind is explorative. So if the exploration is continued, then the mind is in rest, because the natural state is restful. So if it is maintaining its own characteristics of exploration, it is restful. Now, here the exploration means the absence of sensation from perception. Because the moment we stop exploring, we have sensation within the body due to the perception. This aspect needs to be understood. Any kind of proposal, suppose, without my own experience, if I start concluding it. Yes, Anita.
Yeah, the exploration and the lack of sensation.
Yes, exploration and absence of sensation.
Absence of sensation. So, can you please elaborate with example? I'm not able to grasp
Yes.
it.
So exploring means finding out, searching, all these things, right? So we are very much, all the organisms are structurally explorative in nature. Like whatsoever we see outside, we experience outside at the sensory level, we try to explore it further. What's there? What's there next? What's there next? Endlessly. This is the knack of the organism. But this exploration gets stopped in any kind of conclusion. And now this particular stoppage of exploration is experienced at the body. We conclude some kind of perception proposed by someone or experienced by me in the past. In both the cases, we stagnated that perception. Now that stagnation of perception means there is sensation within the body. So understanding of sensation is very important in identifying whether my exploration is a natural exploration or it got stagnated. So exploration may be those justification, excuses, or critical analysis to prove some point, to disprove some point. All these things may look like exploration, but those do have a sensation as base. That needs to be understood. Whenever we are trying to prove something or disprove something, there is an image already fixed in the mind, which you are trying to establish. So that image is actually bringing repeated sensation because it has become my goal. And I am very much convinced at my body level that that's a valid goal to achieve, to prove something or to disprove something. So this may look like this is a pseudo exploration that we do, that always chattering, analyzing the things. So that's not the genuine exploration. The genuine exploration cannot have a goal because it is endlessly happening. Are you able to comprehend the difference between a pseudo exploration and a genuine exploration?
Yes, but I'm still not able to see how I can reach to the sensation to check if I have its absence of sensation or sensation.
See,
That's the-
sensation basically is experienced with a feeling good, feeling bad.
Mhm.
This is a simpler understanding of sensation. This is
Okay.
this is a very like we call it voice of organism also, because organisms are driven by the sensation. This is very important characteristic of organism. Sensations are limited happening within the body to guide the organism. Now, if it is overwhelming, then the source of the sensation becomes the perception. So when you repeatedly starts feeling bad, feeling good, and not able to have a space where there is no feeling good, feeling bad. And that particular space is the inquiring space, where there is no feeling good, feeling bad, but you are exploring the things. That's the inquiring state.
I'm getting.
Right? So it's very simple to identify sensation when we understand and connect with the feeling. Feeling good, feeling bad. And immediately, with that confusion, yesterday we discussed that the physical source is considered for the sensation, and we get confused many times. So that time we have to go very deep into the bifurcation of the physical information that we receive. Like somebody is shouting, what is the physical information that we are receiving? It's a sound. It's a sound that we are receiving. And sound, high pitch, if it is, then it gives a feeling bad. If it is a soothing sound, then it gives a feeling good. So this feeling good and feeling bad sensation out of the sound is very easily understandable when we go deep to the sound aspect. Now, if we start considering that as an insult, that goes to the perception, because I already have some benchmark of insult, esteem, all those aspects, protecting the self-esteem. So this is no more a physical thing. So this is how we can go to the root of the sensation. Yes, Sapna.
Okay, so Kalyan, when we talk about the physical rest or the psychological rest in the mind being explorative by the lack of its own existence, and if it is able, so what I am getting it here with the physical sensation is there will be an unpleasant and a pleasant sensation if we are in a peaceful state of mind and exploring out of curiosity or the natural progression of exploration. There will be this state of restfulness and peace in your mind, or maybe a bit of a pleasant experience. Versus when we go into the pseudo exploration of maybe I am reading up on something which I'm getting either excited about or which is disturbing or which is like, like using up too much of my mental and emotional space. And there will be a physical sensation of discomfort or maybe anger or curious, like, excitement, or there will be negative, if we can term them negative aspects of it, but there is a discomfort in the body. I've always taken, I do not label emotions much, but when there is discomfort or maybe, a very repulsion in the mind or the body, so that would be not resting the psychology. Is this what I've understood from this? Am I correct?
Yes, sort of. If
Sort of.
and that's basically that happens due to a goal formation already, trying to prove
That is
something.
what I'm curious about.
So that kind of chattering is a burden. It's an unrestful mind, which is trying to achieve something, and that achievement itself is an illusion that the mind already subject to.
So how do you get into that space if not setting it up as a goal? Because we need to understand and explore our own state further. Yeah.
Knowing it, being aware of it. So,
okay.
So whenever we are making something happen, it is not happening actually. The question here, if we are at all interested in natural life, whether it is structured to happen spontaneously or not. Making it happen always is driven due to a psychological consideration of an objective, which is an illusion that we feed ourselves. Now, if we understand the natural progression of life, then we need to understand the spontaneity. When you are not pushing something to do, but it is doing as good as it is thriving. Do we understand that beauty? And that's a kind of joy unspeakable. We cannot verbalize that particular beauty. When we really start experiencing spontaneity in our life, it's a very effortless journey thereafter. There is no need to put an effort to lead a life. The life is floating. And you think about the kind of energy that you have, and all the sensory receptions are far more expanded because of the overwhelming energy. Then the access that we are getting of truth is immense, is optimal. Obviously, isn't it?
So you mean to say even trying to, like in this for this state of being like so calm. Now I understood. I got the point yesterday that these are claims of being in mindful space or being aware of each moment, not deliberate, but there is something called cultivation of a state of being mindful. Again, that would go against the
Yes.
Spontaneity state of being, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So that is why any kind of method, any kind of practice, if we start considering that this is leading me to the mindfulness, it is never leading me. It is a pseudo sense of mindfulness that I am obtaining through that practice.
But then that awareness also has to be cultivated or being constantly.
Awareness is already there. Awareness doesn't need any training. Awareness is just blocked. Awareness is not a skill. It is already there. Observation is not a skill. It is already there.
Okay, so it's just a change of perception and understanding.
Yes, yes. Whenever we are clear about the blockers.
Okay.
When we are clear about the blockers drop. We need not to drop it. We need not to put an effort to drop it. Because it is structured to drop, we are just holding it.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's brilliant. Yeah. Got it.
So, yeah. So going forward in the part 2, we are going to explore further about the conflict, the conflicting order that we are discussing. The very premise of the suppressing a conflict, the denial of conflict. I am in conflict, but I keep on denying that, no, this is a very good life that I am leading. This is the best of my life, or something, best portion of my life, and I'm in conflict. So what are those suppressions we are going to explore, and then this particular spontaneous aspect, whether the conflicts are structured to get dissolved by itself or not, that's what we are going to explore. If the conflicts are not structured to get dissolved, then this particular existence is going to extinct within no time. Nobody can stop it. So just because the conflicts are structurally dissolving on its own, this existence is existing. If we understand this secret, this is not a secret at all. This is a just deep observation of existence, which brings this understanding that the conflicts are structured to get resolved on its own. And this particular phenomena is the exploration of the inquiry. So there we'll start exploring the innate knack of inquiry, which in any way we are exploring since beginning of this workshop, otherwise. So, and then the relevance of the agendalessness. If the inquiry has got an agenda, how can it be an inquiry? Because our focus is on the agenda, not on natural exploration. Natural exploration means whatsoever can come out. And I'm okay with that. I'm not disturbed. I'm not bothered. I'm neither excited about it, but I'm observant about it. So this unforeseen revelation of truth cannot happen if I have an agenda in my mind. And there are definitely occurrences of suppressing inquiry. The very pertinent examples that we see in our homes, that we keep discouraging questions of the children. Don't ask question, just follow this. So these kind of impositions are definitely agents of suppressing inquiry. At that tender age, this is very much important to understand. But otherwise, also in the social structure, it's very pertinent to observe that the inquiry is not encouraged. In the systems, inquiry is not encouraged because systems are structured to perform in certain way. So if in system some inquirer creeps in, intrudes, then the system is challenged. The scalability of system, scalability means the mechanical repetition of the things. So systems are structured to mechanically repeat the things. Inquiry doesn't support that. So that is why structurally systems discourage inquiry. So suppression of inquiry is another thing that we'll explore together. And further awakening of inquiry, whether there could be a possibility to awaken inquiry. So with that, we'll drift to the connection of natural hygiene with the inquiry framework. So we'll bring the aspect of 8 factors of natural hygiene protocols, and we'll try and understand how sensation can be observed under the lenses of those factors. So that the reversal are structured to be facilitated within the body, reversal of the diseased condition. So because it is linked with the energy conservation. If the energy is optimally conserved, then the reversal is optimal. So we'll explore that together, the roots and the root of sensation, so that the reversal can be understood. So while trying to understand further about the conflict, we devised a few questions. Like, for example, how does one conventionally address conflict? Conventionally, conflicts are addressed by suppressing it. And what are those occasions? Now, those occasions are trying to escape